little catarrh.
My mask.
Your mask.
Yeah. Just had a good sleep. I think about 2 hours worth of sleep.
Mm.
Had some soup, which was very nice. Had some melon, which was also very nice. I think I definitely need sleep. It makes a huge difference to my everything, my psyche, my ability to think, my ability to talk.
Mm.
And I suppose also my just world view. We were talking about the fact that, shall we talk about Doreen?
Why not?
Why not talk about Doreen? Doreen is an amazing lady. She's one of the nurses here, probably I think she's one of the head nurses here, but she may or may not be. One of the things about being in a place like this is people say, you know what, do whatever you want. It's your time, use your energy in whatever way you want. But then you've got people like Doreen who say, yeah, no, that's true. However, think things through. So I wasn't really doing any exercise, and I got a bit upset yesterday because my legs were very weak. And Doreen kind of sat me down and she says, yeah, well, you haven't been out of bed for about 6 weeks.
Mm.
You need to do at least a tiny little bit of exercise. She kind of said, he said, if you expect to see any sort of improvement. So we did that. And then we had an interesting situation last night where we had our dinner and Doreen decided...
Was the word admonished?
Admonish Scott. Well, I don't know what the Dutch word is, but she definitely slightly admonished Scott, because this is a great place full of lovely volunteers. And I think she was kind of saying occasionally you need to just show your face downstairs and see people, which is what you did.
But only today.
But really only today, so that process has started now. And he's earning brownie points, hopefully hand over fist.
We're going down with trays full of dirty cups. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just sort of being more visible in the house, not necessarily a situation whereby people are waiting on us, but the reality is that the people here are all volunteers.
And as you say, one of them who served me coffee might be the ex-Prime Minister.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or a professor of linguistics.
Yeah. Whereas you said, I'll have my dinner now, and then can you wait after I've had my dinner and then bring me up my coffee?
Yeah.
And this poor 70-year-old volunteer man actually did.
It wasn't my best moment.
It was not your best moment, but I'm glad you recognise it was indeed it was a moment, and you've kind of taken her admonishment on board. And and now you're just showing your face, which is good. Because one of the things she did say to you, and I don't know if you heard her saying, so would you like me to bring you up some hot milk?
No, I did hear that. I couldn't fail to hear that.
You did hear that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to help you sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, she's being a little on the sarcastic side. The thing is, as I said, everyone here is lovely, but you occasionally need somebody who will speak up and kind of say, hang on a minute. And that was indeed Doreen, so that was nice.
Speak soup to nuts, or whatever that word is. Yeah.
Or possibly also power to truth, or truth to power. And that was a truth that nobody else would have said anything about, because realistically they say just do whatever you want, which is a lovely concept, but when you're not necessarily completely knackered, you maybe need to make sure that you take into consideration that as part of the process. So that's really that. And the other thing we were talking about was our laundry, and the fact that Scott has, we've done one service wash. We might do another service wash with the man because we've got a problem with our washing machine. And I've already noticed the fact that the t-shirt, which is one of our favourites, which is the Mind the Gap London t-shirt, the colour has already faded after just one wash, gone from a sort of an orange, a sort of a nice vibrant orange to a sort of a rather, not orange, red, to a sort of a slightly faded red. And in point of fact, it should be a lot brighter, more like the Panadol box there. as opposed to the slightly faded what it is now. It's what at some stage may. There he goes.
Can you see it on the screen?
Yes, we can. Interestingly enough, it looks brighter on the screen than it does, but chances are when you compare the two, yeah, it's that red around the mine of the gap, as I said, was a lot redder. It was more like the Panadol box than the red that I'm looking at. So you can shrivel back. So we're saying that the washing machine is going to be finished, hopefully fixed on...
What was your thought on Calgon again?
I said washing machines live longer with Calgon.
Now, is that true?
I have no idea. We've never used Calgon or anything like that to clean our washing machine, which is fine. But
Is it washing machine or is that dishwasher stuff?
I think Calgon cleans a whole lot of stuff, but I think washing machines are one of the things that it cleans.
Okay.
Probably dishwashers also live longer with Calgon, but yeah, it gets rid of blur. Lots of blur.
Not oasis, blur.
Blur, exactly. Possibly also a bit of oasis as well. So yeah, so that's basically what we've been chatting about for the last couple of minutes. And that's it.
Yeah, I suppose it is really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were singing mindless jingles, but
Yeah.
probably wouldn't go down well on a video.
Possibly not.
Yeah.
So, yesterday was an interesting day from a sort of a hole in the soul point of view. I'm not sure that's too profound a conversation, but I think it's actually quite a useful day for both of us. I was in a lot of pain in my back and I didn't know whether or not it was from a kidney infection or where the pain was coming from. So, yeah, from the point of view of feeling a bit on the knackered side. But then I took the right combo of meds when it came to pain killing, put on the little catter mask, which has become one of my new friends. Say hello to my new little friend. And as part of the teamwork, which makes, as we know, the dream work, I slept really, really well. And now I'm finding that if I can get these sort of little pockets of sleep, I can in fact be more alert later on in the day, because I know I kind of wind down like a little clock. I may in fact not be going to sleep, but it doesn't mean that my brain isn't starting to sort of shut down at certain times of the day, particularly in the just in the afternoon after I've had a spot of lunch, which is normally about 1:30. I think people are trying to shush me, but that ain't gonna happen. I'm not my boyfriend. And
Who's trying to shush you?
somebody outside is going shush.
Outside the door. I just want to make it clear for the camera. That wasn't me saying shush.
No, I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't you.
Also making clear for the camera some of the terms we've used. The catter mask. This is the grey object on Bernadette's forehead, which is a mask from Qatar Airways,
Yeah.
which is given away on someone's flight or other.
Gratis and for nothing.
And you've been using it to block out the August daylight.
Yeah.
Because it can be a bit strong overnight when you're trying to get sleep and it's still quite
But
light
it's
in
not
the
even
evening.
August day. It's not even strength. It's the fact that I'm bad on light.
Hmm.
I'm a light sleeper. I've always been a particularly light sleeper. It's a bit of a pain in the doobies.
Just to show some light. That's the sort of light you get through the curtains.
Yeah. It's a beautifully bright room that we're in. Here in the Azoria Hospice.
And also to explain, which is a bit more profound, that the hole in the soul, well, we're having a bit of problems, that you felt, you were a bit empty inside.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had this humanist lady came 2 days
Friday,
ago,
yeah.
and I think she helped the situation quite a lot by trying to fill the hole in the soul. Because yeah.
I mean, not even filling the hole in the soul. It was more about focusing on things like having a hole in your soul. And, if you can't fill it with one thing, what can you maybe fill it with something else? So my big issue is, and currently still is tiredness. But mental tiredness more so than physical. I mean, I'm having physical tiredness as well. It's bending my head slightly because I've got a tiny creak in my neck, which I do not like. I do not like being Mr. Creek, Jonathan, or other creeks. And I'm trying to be more, shall we say, present. They say this: be in the moment, be present, live in the moment. I can do if I have the energy to do it, but the reality is sometimes I feel so tired that even picking up my WhatsApping finger feels like a lot of hard work. I'm going, WhatsApp, ding, 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 ding. So that's why I was saying to folks that I've got this sort of golden 10 minutes first thing in the morning after I've woken up. In the old days, back at home, it would have been longer because you used to say that I was always at my best in the mornings, which is true. I was. And I kind of still am, but realistically, it's the whole tiredness thing that's just flipping wiping me out.
So it just means that people do send you a message.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes a while to reply.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it can take really quite a long time to reply. Because I just do not have the energy to be able to do stuff and to think stuff through, and this is why I'm asking Scotty to read a lot of my stuff for me, because I can scan things, but I don't necessarily have the energy to be able to sit and assess stuff, if that helps or makes any difference to the big scheme of things. But at this moment in time, sitting up in bed or sitting on a chair, I'd probably be getting a little bit on the tired side.
And are you?
I am, but not as fast as I would have thought. So chances are I'll sit here for 10-15 minutes because it's very good for me. I'm turning my head again, not because I'm turning away from the situation, but I'm turning my head just to kind of give my neck a bit of an old creaking. And I realise that in fact sitting upright in a proper body-shaped position is good for my body, both certainly physically and probably also kind of quite mentally as well, and so this is where we are at this particular moment in time, this particular afternoon.
So you're doing wibbly wobbly with your feet?
Yeah, as I said, trying to build up a little bit of muscle in my legs. Between my knees and my ankles are probably slightly stronger in my legs, because I do have a habit of sort of moving my feet around a bit, whereas my big problem yesterday and certainly recently has been between my knee and my thigh. That's where I've had no energy whatsoever, and that's where Doreen was basically giving me a bit of an old talking to, saying, you need to, if you want to use it or lose it, is essentially what she was saying.
God, I hope not.
Well, from an energy, from a muscle point of view, use it or lose it.
All right, so you're not going to have anything drop off, are you?
Hopefully not. Hopefully I won't have anything dropping off. But I do need to indeed try and build some more muscle mass between my knees and my thighs. And that's about all I have to say on the subject.
All right. So I'm just looking at you with a luxurious mane of hair of your original colour, and in 22 years, come up to 23 years, let's face it, this was never a colour I knew.
Yeah.
What was the colour I knew, Bernadette?
That was that colour over there on those pictures, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of browny, auburny. I mean, to be honest, that's kind of more the colour that my hair has been. It's sort of browny, auburny has been my own colour. But when your hair grows back after chemo, sometimes it grows back in a different shape and a different colour and all that sort of thing. So my hair was never black. And
it is now?
It is now.
You've got that speckly, what are people trying to be complimentary call that?
It's salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper, they say that about me as well. They say, well, you're a bit more salt than pepper these days. Yeah. But I think I'd say you're equidistant between pepper and salt, if I had to condiment you.
Condiment me, yeah. No, I've never, as I said, I've never had black hair at all. Hair has always been sort of browny, mousy brown.
When you say you've never had, perhaps it did, but you hid it.
Well, no, I don't. I've got pictures of me as a kid.
Yeah, but perhaps as an adult you went black-haired in your mid-20s, but we never saw it because you were that burnished bronze, auburn, delightful colour.
Yeah. Not to the best of my knowledge did my hair ever go black, but as I said, it grows back different colours and different shapes when you've had chemo.
But it's certainly, all right, it's certainly not brown now.
No, it's not brown. My original hair was brown, browny, then it went probably browny grey as I got older. And then I just highlighted it a bit so it became more sort of burnished bronze, for want of an expression. So that's the colour of my hair. That will be the hair colour people know me with, is that sort of bronzy type colour, because I found it's called 3.2 Clairol.
Oh, right.
It's my hair colour. I always use exactly the same hair colour to make sure that my hair always looked exactly the same.
3.2?
3.2 is just the name of it.
So
Clairol 3.2.
Were there 3.1, 3.3s that were a little subtle burnished bronzed?
Well, different shades, and they reacted differently with different hair colours. So this is
50 shades of grey, basically.
Well, probably, 50 shades of grey, but I never went 50 shades of grey, I never went 50 shades of anything, basically. This was the colour that I went to, and that was it.
Love the camera, love the camera.
Love the camera. Right, so we have been talking about various things, about just stuff. And one of the things that I've been doing in my head is designing houses. It's something that I love houses. You know, I love architecture and I watch all those sort of programs. But one of the things we were thinking about was the design of a house for you for the future. Like a small little house, but making sure that it is what we would call future-proof, which just includes having a sort of a bedroom and toilet facilities downstairs that are accessible.
When I become decrepit.
When you become decrepit, exactly.
So what kind of house, where are we in the world outside the house before we enter?
At this particular moment in time, we're somewhere, I'm going to do a couple of varieties, and this particular one is a terraced house, shall we say, in a small market town, maybe, or not quite on the outskirts of a village, but not too far away. But that's your decision, so that in fact you can decide how much contact you do and don't want. My suggestion is, you know, obviously I like having people around, but that's just me. So we're talking in this particular instance about the development of an existing house. So when you go into the house after you've just bought it, what you have directly in front of you on the right-hand side is a staircase that goes up to the top. Then you have between the staircase, after the staircase you have a hallway. And before we go any further, there's a, shall we say, single room. It's one of those terraced houses. It looks like one up, one down.
All right.
But hopefully it's not.
Coronation Street style?
Sort of Coronation Street stylish.
Right.
Styly, they might say. So on the right you have the staircase that goes from the hall door straight up. On the left you have what might be in this particular case, a sitting room. a drawing room or something like that.
What is a drawing room?
A with drawing room. It was in very big
is that
houses.
what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the ladies used to go to after dinner in the big houses. So it's a sitting room, living room. Okay.
Nothing to do with art then?
No, I don't think so.
So
Not
that was
that I know of.
misapprehension, okay.
Yes. So, walking down towards the back of the house, there is maybe one of those nice little long, thin gardens, maybe a yard. I'm thinking probably one of those long, thin, gardeny type things. So it's a Victorian type thing. And at the back, there will be, shall we say, an existing kitchen dining area. So, anyway, we go in after you've decided to do a bit of renovation work. And we still have the stairs going up on the right, and on the left we still have what let's call it a front parlour, for want of a better word. Walk down now towards the back of the house, and what you have is the area has been opened up and widened across, shall we say, the whole of the return. And that just simply means like with some windows, etc. So then on the right, we'll have a little, not the massively biggest kitchen in the world, because you don't need the biggest kitchen in the world. It'll be sort of N-shaped on its side.
N-shaped?
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm just trying to give you an idea. So that back area is going to be sort of open plan. So it'll have a sink, obviously your sink, your cooker, some cupboard space, a little bit of a small washing machine, maybe, and maybe a very small dishwasher as well that just holds a couple of cups and plates and that sort of thing. So that is that. Then across from that, if we make it, when I said N, I meant sort of minor, lowercase n as opposed to major case N. Cause
like a big zigzaggy corridor.
Yeah, so not zigzaggy. No, it's hard to use to sort of shape it without necessarily using my hand. So that's one of the reasons that I'm not. But directly opposite that,
you can use your hands.
Yeah, I suppose I could.
Yeah.
And then directly opposite that is a sort of a little sitting area where you can have your table that you can pull out and watch the world go by in the back. So basically you're living in the back of the house. Right, so then we have the little kitchen area. As I said, we've just walked away from that. We've walked across the room to where your little seating area is. And that will be where you have your little pull-out table that can fit 2 people or 3 people, that sort of thing. But then to the left of that is a small sitting area. And that'll be maybe a TV might be on the wall.
Right.
You've got a sofa, you've got a chair, you've got the various little things that you need, so that you can basically, you don't have to leave the back of the house. You can be there all day. That can be where you live, your kitchen, your dining, and in other words, it's an open plan area. So that's, shall we say, phase 1 of 1A, or even perhaps that's what it looks like when you buy it. So then we come back in for the slight renovation. And to me, we have a large under the stairs area, which backs, or even abuts, as we now know, the saying of abutment, onto the kitchen. And in that area is a shower room.
Okay. So it's the width of the staircase.
It's the width of the staircase. It may be even slightly width of the staircase, but slightly deeper perhaps, because it might go slightly into the kitchen area. And in there you have a large enough shower to be able to, for you to be able to stand in. With your big frame.
Yeah.
And a downstairs loo. So at least then you have those 2 facilities. And then on the left-hand side where the parlour was, which is now kind of redundant, that becomes a possible bedroom.
Is it an office in the meantime, maybe?
It could be an office, it
Right.
could be basically anything you want it to be. It's just an extra room. It might be where you sit in the winter, it might be where you do your work. It could
Maybe
be
there's
anything
a
you
little
want.
fire in there as well. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Could be. So anyway, not leaving the house, going back into the hallway, we go up the stairs. And up the stairs I see a bigger, fuller bathroom,
With a bath?
if you want, and 2 bedrooms. And that's really all you have upstairs. So you've got your bathroom, which is your walk-in shower, or your bath, or whatever it is that you want, plus 2 bedrooms. And that's kind of it.
So is the downstairs like an extension? Because always a
slight
bedroom, a very
extension.
long bedroom, covering the whole of the kitchen zone. We go up the stairs. You've got a bedroom which would be above the parlour,
Yep,
because that's where the staircase
Yeah.
would emerge. And then ahead of us, we'd have a bedroom which is on the same footprint as the kitchen stroke open plan area downstairs.
more
Or
or
is the
less.
downstairs like a single story extension with skylights into the garden?
It could be,
Yeah.
but it's more important indeed that upstairs there are 2 bedrooms, so you've got a spare room before you need a spare room for people to come and stay and hang. And then the other room is as I said, a nice bathroom. So you've got 2 bathrooms. You've got an upstairs bathroom which can either have a shower or a walk-in bath or whatever it is that you want. And then downstairs it's important that there is a shower, shall we say, high enough for you to at least be able to get into and have your full shower, but there's also a loo there. So that sort of future-proofs it. And the thing is that that downstairs parlour room can be anything for as long as you like. So long as, to me, the priority would be putting in the downstairs shower and the toilet sooner rather than later, because nothing needs to happen to the parlour room until the parlour room needs to be turned into a bedroom if you need it. So does that sound like something that might be a goer?
Yeah, and I don't. Assuming we've got bifold Williams or bifold doors,
Well,
or whatever
up to you,
they're
yeah.
called. Let's briefly enter the world of the garden, because
Okay, yeah.
either I get the gift of gardening through some miracle,
Yeah.
like I just have a revelation one day and I can
Decide you
sow
do
me
it,
oats,
yeah.
or I have enough pension left over to employ
A gardener.
a
to come
gardener,
in
a
and
very
do it once
subservient gardener.
Yeah.
So how do you? I see, but not necessarily a walled garden like we saw in Abingdon,
Okay.
or a non-overlooked garden. Certainly,
Yeah.
quite private.
Yeah.
And in one version in my head, I have rolling fields
Could
at
go
the
with
end of
that.
the garden,
Yeah.
at the edge of a village, or woodland,
Yeah.
or other houses
Yeah.
with a wall, so you can't actually see.
Can't see in. Yeah.
But are we laying some of the garden to vegetables, or
That's
or is it-
entirely up to you.
You're
I'm
not.
just doing
You're
the-
not getting concerned with that.
Not getting concerned with the veggies.
Okay, fair enough.
The inside was just all I was looking at, and as I said, to me the priority is to make sure that the back of the house has a sort of an open plan feel where you have your kitchen, your small dining area and your little sitting room, and then the downstairs shower and a toilet. So I'm prioritising the inside of the house, and you can prioritise the outside of the house.
So that interface between your realm and my realm, you
Yeah.
do the inside, I do the outside.
Basically, yes, indeed.
Bifold doors, I think, would be really good.
Well, you can put them in. I mean, I think you might not have the space, because I think if you put in a bifold door, it's going to take away too much of your kitchen space.
Good point. Good point.
Which is why I was looking at sort of a lowercase N-shaped kitchen area. So you've got, shall we say, shelving and cupboarding on 3 sides in your little kitchen area, and then there would just be a nice back door that goes from where the dining stroke sitting area is, that takes you out into the back garden. But it's entirely up to you as far as the size of the house is concerned. As I said, I was looking at an existing sort of Victorian Edwardian cottage that doesn't necessarily give you masses of space, but because the kitchen wouldn't be huge, I wouldn't necessarily see there being a need for that. Well, it's up to you.
I like the cut of your jib.
Thank you. My jib has been cut.
Yeah, so, I suppose village, market town.
Yeah, on the edge of, but not so far out that you're a bit on the old isolated side.
Yeah, I need to be able to walk to a pub.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
the grizzled old man in the corner eventually, dribbling into me pint.
And
there's old Scott over there.
Old Scott.
Don't talk to him, he's
there.
weird.
He's a bit of an odd job, he is. Yeah, he's the one with the N-shaped kitchen. Yeah.
I notice he's got N-shaped body now. He's sympathetic with his kitchen.
He's kind of come out in sympathy with his very own kitchen. Yes, exactly.
If you ask him nicely, he'll take you around his kitchen.
He'll show you his tiny little kitchen, but you can get out of it really quickly because it's a really tiny little kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a one-person house with space for guests, as opposed to, shall we say, two peeps living in the same house all the time, because it might be a little bit small for that. Particularly once you decide to turn the parlour into a bedroom.
Oh, I like the word parlour.
Parlour, thank you.
Sounds very Mrs. Bridges.
Mrs. Bridges, that'll be it, yes. Yes, we have all the subjects in the world and we can kind of chat away as I sit here.
On the chair,
strengthening my back, because realistically I should be strengthening my back. I talked about how tired I was, did I?
Oh, you didn't. That could be covered right now.
Yeah, I had the last 2 nights have not been great when it's come to sleep, but I seem to have more energy now. I had a good sort of 2 hours sleep. What I need to do now is strengthen my back by sitting up. And it also helps my body generally when it comes to my body doing proper body stuff, as opposed to lying straight in bed, and really being straight in bed the whole time is not a very good idea.
So there's the douche.
Well, those are 2 of the words that I can think of off the top of my head. It's probable that there are other words, because when I have the conversation with people, I will stick in a Dutch word if I need to. So I'm kind of saying minder instead of less. So that's an example. And there was another word as well, which was something like, well, I can't remember what it is. Minder just means less. I think I said I'll take my sleeping tablet, minder half an hour before I go to sleep.
That's a wonderful mélange.
It is.
Parlant.
Yeah.
Languages. Another one we've got is, well, if you heard it in English, it would be a small Scottish cow, male cow.
Yeah.
But it means wobbly.
Yeah.
And what is it?
Weeble, small bull, weeble, bane.
Imagine the smaller bull.
Hele kleine weeble.
No, I'm trying to get you to the adjective because you said it already.
Weeble.
No, you've got the wobble, but we need wobbly.
A bullock.
And?
Bainan.
No, well, you know this, and you've already said it. It's just I'm trying to get it on camera. It's weeballock.
Weeballock.
Which means wobbly.
Say it in a slightly different way.
Weeballock a bainan.
Weeballock a bainan.
Wobbly legs, which you suffer from. And do you remember leg muscle resistance training?
Yeah. So that's spear. Voorstand, which is close enough but not the quite pronunciation, training.
Yeah, no cigar, but certainly a cigarillo.
Who?
It's benen spier weerstand training. Benen for legs.
For legs.
Spear for muscle.
Spear.
Again, I'm not. I'm supplying these words because I know you say them.
Yeah.
But when I put you on the spot, it's just more difficult to get them out of your head.
Yeah.
But I've noticed you using that word as well.
Well, Bainan is a word that I am using.
You are.
For legs. Because as I said, there are various degrees of people who have Nederlands and people who have more or less close to geen Nederlands, Engels, I should say. People who have Engels. People who have more or less close to geen Engels. There was one of the ladies, the nurse who was on last night, has absolutely no English whatsoever. So I need to make sure that there are...
no names, but this is a private video.
Yeah.
But could you describe the lady last night using your hands? Yes, that's roughly it.
That is roughly it.
And
yeah.
does she have a special name, this being not a public video?
This is well, I probably shouldn't use it, but the word that I have been using is Tetris, because she looks like she would slot into a Tetris screen. The first time I saw her, which was about 3 o'clock in the morning, about a week ago, she walked into the room and she was wearing quite a tight sort of t-shirt, and she just looked completely square. Like last night she came in and she was wearing a bit of a jumper, so she looked like she had a bit of a body shape, but she opened the door and there was a light coming in from behind her, and she just looked like one of those sort of just looked like something straight out of Tetris. You could kind of pick her up and just kind of go slot. So this has to be private.
I think part of the problem with not having a gimbal on this phone is that you make me laugh so much. I can see that the video's going to go like that as I try to control laughter.
Yeah. So no mentions of her real name, which we don't really know.
Indeed. So that will preclude that problem.
Yeah, it will. I do remember Red House. I do remember being...
Let's start that bit again. Yeah. What was the Red House then?
Well, Red House, as you know, we lived in the UK, because that's where we were all born, and that's because Dad was an engineer, and we kind of travelled around, or most of us, Jello wasn't. We kind of travelled around the country. And Red House was a house that we rented at one stage. It was quite a nice looking house in Sturminster, Newton. For some weird reason, there's so little that I remember about stuff in general, but for some reason I remember the name Sturminster, Newton. And it was a lovely old farmhouse. What I remember about it was it had a sort of a back door, a stable back door in the kitchen. So you could open the top and let the air in, and at the same time the rest of the door was closed. And I remember sometimes as a kid, I would, very early in the morning, particularly in the summer, when I say I was a kid, I was probably, how old would I have been? 4 maybe, 3, 4. I would somehow manage to climb, get up very early in the morning and climb over certainly the door and flump into the garden and just sit in the garden at sort of 6 o'clock on a summer's morning, and it was just beautiful. You'd have the smells, and you'd have the dew, and I remember that was the first time, and probably one of the last times, that I ever saw a mole. A mole came up through the garden. I could just see it pushing its little way up. I didn't go near it. I probably should have gone over and tried to pet it. It would have eaten me, dragged me into the hole, and there would have just been a pair of feet sticking out of the hole.
I think they're vegetarian, I hope, anyway, because otherwise there'd be a lot of mole eating small children stories in the press.
Yeah, well, I think I was probably, I don't think I was quite, I probably are sort of vegetarian, but it was lovely. That I remember, sort of, it's a sort of a morning, if I was to pick a line, it would be morning is broken type thing. That's the sort of line that you would associate with this particular experience. I probably didn't do it very often, but I did it enough that it's stuck in my mind.
Was that the house with the ghost? He said, like a tabloid journalist.
Yes, it is the house with the ghost. Well, technically, it had a ghost. What it had was so the room my parents were in had a dressing room off it, and that's where Shane was. And Shane would probably have been quite a tiny baby. So actually, in fact, this is not my first memory. This will be my second memory, because I remember Shane being born, and Shane wasn't born there. He was born in Saltash. So, and about 3 o'clock every morning, apparently, he used to wake up crying. And, it was just a bit strange. I remember my mother speaking to somebody who lived locally, and they said something about the fact that there had been a servant girl who had committed suicide in the dressing room off her boss's bedroom, and that was the ghost. And it happened about 3 o'clock in the morning. So there you are, you're looking slightly shocked. You did ask me about the ghost. Where do you think ghosts come from?
That's contentious, if I may be so bold.
Yeah, so basically that's the story of the ghost. But it was a beautiful house. It had, like, as far as I can remember, it had two, I thought it was very big. It probably wasn't, because I was probably quite small, but as far as I can remember, it had two staircases, one at one end of the house, the other end of the house.
Oh, that's always been my dream house, 2 staircases.
2 staircases.
When we watched Escape to the Country and they said 2 staircases, I'd melt.
Yeah. Well, I think one of these staircases probably went straight up to what would have been my parents' part of the house, and then there would have been a walkway from their part of the house upstairs to the 2 bedrooms, whatever bedrooms there were, on the other side, and that would have been a main staircase, I think, that would have gone up.
Was there a wall so you kids couldn't get through to their part of the house?
No, I don't think it was quite that bad.
Okay.
No. I think it was just, as I said, a little separate stairway type thing. Because we would have had the run of the house. There's no point in having a house that you can't get into, particularly when you've got 2 small children. Because if I was about 4, that would have made Ronnie about 2.
You're going to be a bit older than 4, because you remember Shane being there. You're 5 years old when he came along.
Was I 5? Oh, okay. He was born in 65. I was born in 61.
I think he was born in 66, but...
Oh, maybe he was born in 66.
He could be corrected later.
And Veronica was born in 60... I guess 63? 64? I don't know when she was born, I forget.
We'll look it up.
We'll look it up. Look it up in our funks and various wagnalls, as it were. Funks and wagnalls that can be looked up in.
One thing that you've given me over the years is an erotic accent. Not an erotic accent. That'd be very rude. Erotic accent. R-H-O-T-I-C.
Yeah.
So, because of your upbringing, you say car, jar, farm. Whereas I always said jar, car, farm. But I do think you've taken the piss and added an R into the word glasses.
Yeah, probably.
And you say glorises.
Well, I say glasses sometimes. I mean, if you ask me where are my glasses, are there. Where your glasses are there. But if I'm, shall we say, urine taking, I'll say glorises.
Oh, it's urine taking?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah,
no, I don't. I mean, you may have noticed I don't always say glorises.
I've never actually noticed. I noticed when you say glorises.
Glorises.
Okay, that's a urine thing.
Yeah, where's me glorises? It's sort of a bit of a joke. There's some words that I purposely mispronounce just for the giggle, because it amuses moi. It amuses toi, as we say in several different languages.
Well, speaking of languages, do you think your Dutch is improving?
I'm certainly using more individual Dutch words while I'm here, simply because no one here, well, that's not strictly true, I would say 98% of the people here do not speak excellent English. 2% do. You've got people like the lovely Saskia, who has been brought up not only in the Netherlands, despite the fact that she was born here, but went to university in the UK and went to school in the US and lived outside the a bit like us, sort of expat type thing for a long, long time, but then everybody else speaks English as a second language, and then there's variations on a theme of how good people are.
I think, she lived in Abingdon, she's asking.
She did. She lived in Abingdon for a while. Her father was working in that geographical area, and she lived in Abingdon. We might find out a little bit more about her at some later stage.
And then there's Thais.
Thais is lovely.
She's got very good English because she's addicted to UK festivals.
Yeah.
She just went to one over this month in Wales.
Yeah. She, I think, is almost, again, probably close to fluent in English. So those are two fluent ladies. Everybody else is sort of on a sliding scale.
Whereas, speaking of sliding scales and interrupting that thought, which is rude of me, I think your sliding scale is going upwards.
I think it is. I mean, as I said, I use the word cast now instead of covered. If I want somebody to get something from me from the cupboard, I use the word cast, because there's no point in using the word cupboard because it doesn't mean anything to anyone here. I might as well use the word cast. And I use various sort of...
it's vla.
Vla.
Although that's not no translation for that.
No, that's true. There are various other words that I'm sort of using.
So, did you enjoy Dubai?
Did I enjoy Dubai? Yeah, I did. I mean, it was to say I enjoyed it, I experienced it, and it was an interesting experience. So I'm glad I kind of had the whole Dubai-esque experience type thing. It was a bit like living in sort of the difference between Disneyland and hell, because I was going from Dubai, which was really Disneyland, into Iraq, which really wasn't, and would have sort of burnt out lorries on the side of the roads and all that sort of thing, and massive, in some places craters in the middle of the road. And I do that from Sunday through until Thursday, and then fly back to Dubai for the weekend. So we'd have Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday we'd be flying back into Dubai.
A bit relentless.
It was very relentless.
Especially for someone who didn't like flying.
Yeah, and I hated flying. I was actually flying twice a week, like taking the work bus. And we often did say that if anything happened to the plane, that's basically all the expats in this particular company that I was working for. We'd all have gone down in a blaze. I wouldn't say glory, but blaze. It's just the word blaze.
Yeah, you don't need to make it a blaze of glory, just a blaze.
Just would have got down in a blaze. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Tell me about the you're in Basra, and every Thursday night you'd leave?
Thursday afternoon we'd leave. We'd do a half day in Iraq, and then just after lunch we'd get our bags together, we'd have our lunch, and then we'd all pile into the buses and we'd drive, I don't know, whatever it was, 20, 30 kilometres from Basra Gas up to the airport. And that was one of the most fraught things that we ever had to do, because it's very, very weird. What would happen is that we would be taken as far as Basra Airport car park in our secure transport with our armed guards and all that sort of thing, and that was great and safe. But you got to Basra airport car park, and then you all had to get out of the transport and get into the local taxis, because the local taxis objected to the fact that they weren't getting any money out of the fact that all these expats were being taken to the airport. So what would happen is you'd run, you'd have your rucksack, you'd have your suitcase, a little small sort of overnight suitcase that we used, and you'd have to run and you'd shove yourself into a taxi. So you get into the taxi, but then you'd get to the checkpoint, and then you'd all have to get out of the taxis, and you'd have to go into the area where everyone was sort of checked and scanned and screened. But again, you had to run, because the thing is that if they delayed you, it's a possibility that your taxi was gone by the time you got out the other side. And you were literally stranded because no one else would pick you up. And you then had to...
Did that ever happen, that people were stranded there?
it didn't happen to me. I don't know if it happened to other people, but it didn't happen to me. But I always lived in fear of this happening. And you'd look at the people who were in the taxi with you and say, don't let them go until all four of us have piled in. You literally don't close the door until we're all in. And then we would drive up. They would literally open the back door, and I'm not going to go on about literally anymore. They would throw your bag onto the ground. You would jump out after your bag. They would do a U-ey, and they'd head back down again because they got paid by the skull. So they would drive right back to the car park, pick up the next batch, and that's how we all got to where we needed to get to. So that was one of from a transport point of view, that particular taxi thing was one of the weirdest things we had to do. And also, as I said, it's definitely a fraught element to it. Okay, so I'm just having my diet is breakfast, which normally consists of 2 types of melon, sometimes with a little bit of vla and freshly squeezed orange juice, which is quite nice. But then my lunchtime is really just a soup. I like to try and have something in the middle of the day as well. In this case, I'm just having soup.
Should I just
go down? There's been a variety of different soups.
Which variety is this one?
This I would just call bog standard vegetable groente soup. So really all it is it's the vegetable greens that have been boiled in some sort of, I don't know, something liquidy, bouillon of some description. And last week the soup was mainly a very nice homemade, what was it? It was a green soup. I've forgotten what it was, but it was very nice, a vegetable soup. I tend not to have meaty things. I've got off meaty things sort of, but the soup is fine. It's not what I'd call the most exciting soup. I would not necessarily order it if I was out.
Is the fact that it's called vegetable soup that has meatballs in it in any way disconcerting?
Ever so slightly disconcerting and a little bit odd and tiny bit strange. And I'm just kind of, you have a look at it, you can see what it's like. It's a very thin, it's just a thin watery soup with
gruel.
Gruel, it might be gruelish, yeah. It's, in the Netherlands we call these groentjes, soup groentjes. They're very useful for throwing into stuff like stews or soups or whatever. I would like if they'd sort of blitzed it to give it a bit of body, but it is body free.
Thank God for that.
Well, in fact, it's actually
you wouldn't want that sort of recycling here, would you?
Yeah, well, that is true. But it's not actually body free in that there are little teeny clumps of meat in it as well, which are the body of something.
Teeny tiny globules.
Cows or something like that. It looks like it's sort of a bit of a beef. So I'm going to keep going for a while.
That's okay, you keep going. I had, speaking of bits of cow, I had a croquette, which I think was homemade. It was quite nice.
Yeah, okay.
Since we're on a theme of food, I'll just show you what we've achieved in the hospice. It's taught the people here about Irish jelly. So the concept was completely unknown to the Dutch. And I went down about 3 weeks ago because your UCD friends were kind enough to bring a whole load of it was tons of jelly basically of every flavour.
Different flavours and colours, yeah.
Banana, lemon, strawberry, raspberry, and some flavours we just could never conceive of.
Yeah.
And I went down 3 weeks ago and taught them how to make Irish jelly.
Yeah.
And ever since we've had I needed to focus on you eating your soup because that was just your head went down with no explanation.
That's because I'm eating soup.
So we've had a non-stop supply of jelly
for
the last 3 weeks, and I think it will probably go on in about 2 or 3 years. And the other thing that was maybe unexplainable in another culture was flour.
Yeah, well, it's custard.
It is, but I can actually demonstrate it. Can I?
Yeah.
But this is flour, isn't it?
It'll be the flour.
There we go. So really, it's cold custard farm, basically.
Yeah. And as opposed to having to make the custard,
It comes in a...
it comes in a pouring packet, so you just pour in a bit of custard. But what it does is it gives a little bit of bulk, because a lot of the stuff that I have is not terribly bulky. So the jelly, which is lovely, which I might have a little bit later on today. I haven't finished my vla. My vla is from yesterday, but that's okay. So I'll have another spoonful or two of vla just to line my stomach. I may be stopping with my soup.
Have you investigated the concept of flour flip?
Never heard of it.
Well, it's something that they insist on here, which is flour and plain yogurt mixed together.
Oh.
You just,
Okay.
I think you serve it in constituents, and then one of the major excitements of the culture is to mix the yogurt and the custard in sort of swirls, this with a spoon.
I think that might be a little unfair to say it's a major excitement in the culture. I think the culture is probably a tiny bit more exciting than a mixture of yogurt and
I am known for my unfairness, to be fair to me.
That is true. You are an unfair person. It's well known and recorded.
And actually, being Dutch now, I shouldn't actually.
No,
I'm basically being intolerant against my own self.
Yeah, intolerant against your own nation.
And I'm also a great fan of flour and flour flip,
Yeah.
and all the different flavours of. You can get vanilla, which is this flavour, custard, but you can get chocolate and strawberry, and
Yeah.
it's all sort of gooey, creamy loveliness.
I do tend to go for the vanilla. I just like the vanilla. It's very easy, and as I said, it's got a bit of thickness to it, so it kind of sticks to your ribs ever so slightly. And it's not everything that just goes straight in one end, comes straight out to the end.
Aye. And in a way, it's even though you're using them separately, jelly and custard is something you would have at home.
That's true. You would have jelly and custard at home.
Maybe at a younger age.
At a younger age, for birthdays or parties and that sort of thing.
Anyway, that's food here. I've at the weekends I stay here, and I stayed last night and will stay tonight.
Yep.
And as part of that deal, I get breakfast, boiled egg and toast, which I've...
Yep. So you have all 3 meals.
Yeah, I get breakfast, which is boiled egg and toast, which I ask for only here. I don't ever make it
At home?
for myself.
Yeah.
And so that's a really nice thing to have.
Alrighty.
So once again, out the window, it's a lovely sunny day,
Yeah.
fan, television.
Yeah.
So there are things in this room which make life quite comfortable.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, there's nothing in this room that makes life uncomfortable, to be honest.
No, that would be awful, wouldn't it?
Like, indeed, it would be awful if there were things that made the life uncomfortable, so there isn't.
So we get to watch, because of the wonders of YouTube, we can watch programs that we would like at home, only available on a satellite dish,
Yeah,
and you can watch them.
I can. And we do.
Would you say that the Wigglepuff song was quite annoying?
I find it an extremely annoying song. As I said, I know you, your dad in particular, found it quite a pathos-inducing song, but realistically it's not about poor little orphans who have been left astray. It's about a whole load of drunken louts from Yale University who have basically got 2 rat arses and can't basically find their ways home. And it talks about things like the tables down in Morey's, to the place where Louis dwells, to the good old Temple Bar we loved so well. And realistically all that is some sort of eating and dining organisations where these fat, rather stupid actually we need to look up the date, 1910s, 1920s, or perhaps even earlier than that, Yale students would have been hanging out doing their thing.
But it does sound like a with the words Temple Bar. It sounds like there's an Irish reference.
Well,
but you were saying about tables. What were you saying about tables precluding it being an Ireland thing?
I was saying that basically it refers to the fact that you're going out to dine, out to restaurants, and realistically, the temple. Actually, to be honest, I mean, we have middle temples and all that sort of thing in Dublin for our law students.
Is that where Temple Bar gets its name?
Probably not. I mean, actually, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a pub down there originally called the Temple. And the area has been called the Temple Bar, and it's just kind of expanded because it's a rather sort of clever and rather witty name. It just sounds pleasant and a bit fun. But yeah, I mean, realistically, that's what it's all about. It's kind of about knout. It's about, as I said, drunken students who would have gone to the what's that British one called? The rugger. No, what was it called?
The Billingham Club.
Yeah.
One Bozo was on.
Yeah, exactly. The
Bullingdon. Yeah, something like that.
Something like the Bullingdon Club is what this would have been a reference to, but it would have been one of those sort of barbershop quartets, which were very popular in the 1910s and 20s in the UK. Sorry, no, I didn't mean that. I meant in the US. Yeah, we had all these sort of drinking clubs. So I always found it vaguely amusing that people might have thought that there was some sort of an Irish reference simply because of the two words Temple Bar. Whereas in point of fact, all over the world you're going to come up with, I mean, certainly in London you have the inner temple and the outer temple.
I know, but there's things in it like, is Moley's Bar or something?
To the place where Louis dwells, to the dear old Temple Bar. Yeah, there is.
Which sounds like a bar in Dublin as well. I mean, it doesn't sound like a restaurant in the US.
No, I mean, it's probably a bar. It would have been a bar, but one of these sort of quarter shop, quartet, hairdresser. What the hell are these things called again?
Barbershop quartets.
Barbershop quartet jobbies. It would have been one of these songs that the students would simply have sung. And the fact they mentioned, I mean, the fact that the dear old, I've forgotten what the words are again. I sang it there a second ago. But it has to do with the fact that, you know, they're used to going out and living the high life, and they would have known who Louis was, whatever, where Louis dwells. And he probably would have been a very well-known mine host or restaurant owner or bar owner or something like that. And that really is, it's a bit of fun. But our original question, where we came up with why are we talking about this in the first place, was I was wondering, and we might need to look this up, what the word whiff and puff actually means, or where it comes from. We poor little lambs have lost our way, ba ba ba.
See, that's really sad to me. I can imagine they're actual little lambs, and I know it's...
Instead of red-nosed, overweight, overpaid, all the stupid Yale students. So the poor little lambs have lost their way, ba ba ba. What's the next line? I forgot what the next line is.
It's something else, ba ba ba. I do remember that.
Little lost sheep who have gone astray.
Ba ba ba.
Gentlemen songsters, off on a spree, doomed from here to eternity. God have mercy on such as we. Ba ba ba.
No, you do have a point. Yeah. And I would like to say at this point that you look like Linda Ronstadt from an 80s fitness video with that headband thing.
I'm getting physical, as it were.
You are getting physical.
Although that's Ola Dutron Bomb, we've decided, was the one who did it.
Yeah, Louis Newton-John. And I think on that note, we can wrap up on the Whipple Puff song, the analysis of the
song,
and catch you later.
Yep.
So, look into my eyes.
Not around your eyes. Into your eyes. And the umbrellas, two men today. Any umbrellas, any umbrellas to mend today. We'll fix your brolly, then go on our way. Singing any umbrellas to mend, any umbrellas to mend, any umbrellas to mend today. Was that nice?
It was lovely.